And now, aviation weather around Alaska.
Flying weather for Thursday morning. IFR here, north slope to the Arctic coast, coming down and around there into the Bering Strait. Then a band of IFR out here for along the front here over the Bering Sea down to the Alaska Peninsula. IFR, western slopes of the eastern Alaska, or the eastern slopes of the western Alaska Range, Kodiak Island, Prince William Sound, and then down here off the south coast of the Panhandle, good VFR in the interior. And then for Thursday afternoon, even better VFR here across much of interior Alaska, all the way up to the Arctic coast, northern Bering Sea there, Seward Peninsula, and a narrow band here of IFR across the Bering Sea, in across Bristol Bay, Barren Islands, Kamishak Bay area, on up into Prince William Sound, and some of that even into the eastern Copper River Basin area, then southeastward here along the south coast of the Panhandle, with marginal VFR for the Aleutians and the Alaska Peninsula. And then for Friday morning, still an area of IFR up here over the north slope to the Arctic coast, coming down and around to the north side of the Seward Peninsula area. And IFR across the southern Bering Sea here from west to east, right into Bristol Bay again. And some IFR along the western Alaska Range area. And a big area of IFR here, Prince William Sound, right on down the entire southeast coast. And then for Friday afternoon, big improvement there. Still some IFR over the northern Panhandle here and along the Coast Range. But as you can see, a lot less there. Still areas of marginal VFR along the mountainous terrain of south central Alaska, especially the Alaska Range there, with marginal VFR in the Gulf, VFR, Fognak Island, right on up through Cook Inlet to the Susitna Valley, then back to marginal VFR, Alaska Range down over Bristol Bay, and just about all of the Bering Sea now. Conditions improved to marginal Friday afternoon for the North Slope and the western central Arctic coast, with just some IFR here over the far southwestern Bering Sea. And for passes tomorrow, Anatuvik and Anigan, VFR still in the forecast for both passes there in the Brooks Range. Lake Clark and Merrill, marginal VFR, lowest conditions on the eastern approaches for all three passes, Lake Clark, Merrill, and Rainy. And for windy, looking pretty marginal tomorrow, as is Isabel. Mintasta, marginal VFR at times throughout the day Thursday. And Tanita, IFR at times. And for Portage, IFR, especially on the east side, eastern entrance. Chilkoot and White, IFR. Freezing levels here, about 2,000 to 4,000 feet. Northern Gulf of Alaska down into the central and southern Panhandle. 2,000 feet way up there over the north slope in the Arctic coast with some high pressure aloft there. Otherwise, at about 2,000 feet here for the western interior down over the Aleutians and much of the Bering Sea. So moving on to icing, quite an area of considerable moderate rime icing possible here from the eastern Bering Sea on across southern Alaska, just about all areas there, all the way up to the Alaska Range, North Gulf Coast, and all of the southeast coast. And from there, looking at the jet stream, we've got westerly winds at about 65 knots, mostly over in Canada there. Pretty light here over much of interior Alaska, on down to the Gulf with the couple of lows here keeping the jet well to the south there, just barely getting on the chart here. You can see 95 knots there, and not too strong out west either. Easterly flow here across the southern Bering Sea at about 65 knots. And for 9,000 feet, east winds 35 knots there, southeast of Nunivak Island to maybe the Pribilofs, turning northeast and a little stronger there over the Shimiat-2 area, western Aleutians, and back to the west, 35 knots to the Alaska Peninsula, southeast 40 knots over the southwest interior, light to the north, and maybe 25 or 30 knot winds there along the north coast of the Panhandle. And 3,000 feet, much stronger here along in advance of that front, 35 knots in a narrow band from Prince William Sound, 45 to 50 knots for the southeast coast. West winds 45 there for the Alaska Peninsula, turning east at 45 for Kamishak Bay, and then northeast, east-northeast, 35 knots over the northern Bering that actually come and wrap all the way around the far western Aleutians. Turbulence-wise, for Shimiat-2, Could be some isolated moderate chop there, as well as western St. Lawrence Island, the Bering Strait. Otherwise, considerable moderate in the forecast here. Southern Prince William Sound, Montague Island across the southern Kenai Peninsula, Kamishak, Kachemak Bays, Barren Island areas into Iliamna Lake, and also here for the Alaska Peninsula, with moderate turbulence also possible here for the southeast coast.